Hi guys, it's Amy and you have found Amy Loves Crochet. Thank you so much for your time. I sincerely appreciate any time you click on my videos. My video today is a little bit interesting, a little bit different for me because I don't normally do a yarn review. Normally I'm using up stash yarn, so it's like older, discontinued. I've got it on clearance to begin with. And I kind of just want to show you what I've done with mine so that if you've got some of that same yarn in your stash that you didn't know what to do with, this is an example of what I did with mine, you know. So in reviewing yarns, it's not something I generally do because I don't buy them when they first come out and everybody else is doing reviews. But this yarn I purchased and I was really excited when I bought it. And so now that I've used it and I don't really care for it too much, I wanted to pass that along to you. So the yarn that I'm referring to is, it's by Plymouth Yarn. It's called Hot Cakes. And the blend is 75% acrylic and 25% wool. So when I bought this, I was thinking of my Caron cakes that is an 80% acrylic, 20% wool blend. So I thought that that was similar enough, but the 5% difference, the 5% more wool, really makes this less resembling this yarn that, you know, the Caron yarn that as I thought it would. Woo. Anyway, so I worked with this in a pattern called the Ginkgo leaf scarf, and this is by Flux. It's a 4 worsted weight pattern with a J 6mm hook, and I got to about this far. Whoops, upside down. That's my norm. I got to about this far and just realized it was a little bit too scratchy for my taste. The texture, if you want to feel some texture and some toothiness, it's definitely there for you. It's a really simple pattern. You just come across and do some shells and then 2 stitches together, and not 2 together, but 2 in the same spot. So it kind of looks like posts, but it's not. They're not posts. And they're trebles. Treble crochets always work up so quickly. I really do enjoy the treble. So I got to about this far and was just not feeling the scratchiness of it. So I will frog this out and make it into something else. Not something that's going to be close to your skin. If it will be a wearable, it will be something that will be an outer garment for sure. Or maybe a bag or something. I'm not sure. I'll get back to that. But I did complete the same pattern with my Caron cakes. Now the 2 cakes are similar in that they are 200 grams, but this one offers you 404 yards, and you're only going to get 383 yards out of this guy. It is a hand wash, lay flat to dry, so I know that turns a lot of people off. But if you know me at all, you know my journey with my Caron cakes and my love for them. So this one is called Poached Pear. It's got some yellows and some greens in it. It's been in my stash forever. The band says 2017. I don't know if I bought it brand new or not, but I know I've had it in my stuff for years. So I'm a little bit melancholy to see that it isn't up there anymore. You know, I've seen it for so long. But it is a really pretty colorway. There are a couple different yellows in here. You can see there's kind of a mustardy one here, and then one that's a little bit brighter. And then here's kind of like a brown that's in between them. Kind of like a yellowy brown. And then a couple of different greens. So then we start back around with the mustardy yellow again. And so, again, I really like the way that the colors played out. There isn't, the change is going to go over to green next. And so I wasn't sure if I wanted to stop here so that my ends are light colored as each other. You know, I don't know if I continue with the green, then I've got one end that's yellow and one end that's green. I don't know if I like that. Maybe I'll end up putting them together for, I don't know if I'll do that because then there's that brown in between. That won't match. I was going to say to put it as an infinity scarf. I didn't take the center out. Normally when I'm working with a cake of yarn that color changes, I take the center section out so that I know that the representation of color is going to be complete in that next color. So I didn't do that in this case. I just wanted to let it play out, and this is as far as that first color got, just a couple of shells. So Again, this is going to go continue yellow a little bit and then go to green. So maybe I will do that, but then it'll be super long. I don't know. I'll still work on that a little bit, but pretty much done otherwise. The pattern does call for some tassels, and I'm not going to do tassels on this, but I really do like the texture, the pattern, the way that it comes out, all that good stuff. And this is good. This is one that would be good for even a blanket, or maybe like a market bag, or some sort of other type of wearable. You know me with my cardigans lately, I maybe could make that into a cardigan. But yes, I do love a treble stitch so very much because it works up so very quickly. So that was my sort of finished project. It's not tied off, it's not complete, but pretty much there. It's not still really work in progress. Whereas other things are still a work in progress. Like recently I showed you that I made my little pickle jar minis into a couple of bags. So here's one that's still a work in progress. I need to create the handle still. So I haven't decided how that is going to go. And then this was the other one that I did that was my main bag. And the pattern that I was sort of watching to know, I looked at another tutorial from Happy Berry to see how many hexagons I needed and how to place them and then how to sew them together so that I would have a bag. So this is the way that hers are laid out, but then she uses a store-bought handle, and I don't know if I wanted to do that or not. So that one's still kind of a work in progress, as is this one. I have a little bit of neon left. I don't have it right here. Oh, here it goes. I just have these two colors of my neon left, so I wasn't sure how I was going to put that together to be a handle. So we'll come back to that shortly. But then I still had a handful of hexagons that I wasn't sure how I was going to put them together, what color combinations. I wasn't feeling it. You know how you're working on something and you're just not feeling it. So it got put to the side for a bit, and I'm done with the bag situation as far as putting the hexagons together. Now I have 3 hexagons that I did not use in anything. I'm going to end up frogging these and just putting them back into the little yarn balls. The colors individually might have been nice. This one's like some reds and blues and some purple and pink on this one, obviously. And then this one's sort of a country muted, country blue, country rose, whatever. But they weren't fitting, you know. I lay them all out on my table and mix and match and see how I'm going to arrange them. So I used all the rest of them, and this is my last finished bag, or my first finished of my bags of these or whatnot. So you started with one in the center again, and then just position these a little bit differently. So it's kind of the same idea as this one, where you're folding them together to create the front and back of that spot. Whereas this one is a rounded bag. This one shows you the folds of the hexagons a little bit differently so that you end up with a square on the bottom instead of the rounded bottom. So while those are still work in progress, this one may be finished, pretty much finished. I did take one of them, I think it was this one, and did a single, oh, and this one maybe, or maybe it's this one. Yeah, I think it's this one. I took this one and did a single crochet all the way around to try to make it a little bit stronger edging, you know. And then I took what was spare, so like this one's easy to see, this blue and yellow one here. This is what's left of that little mini skein. And so I put those all together, all the edge, you know, what was remaining of each of them, and just did 4 single crochets and then a turning chain back and forth so that I could use all those up. And then it was still a little bit stretchy, so I used one that was just kind of gray. I don't know if you can see it in there, the changing colors of the gray there along the edge. I just did a single crochet all the way around the handle and then just sewed it to the inside of the bag. That's, you know, I didn't recreate the wheel here. We've got lots and lots of videos out there where I just sewed it in, tried to hide a little bit of the, you know, all the way along the colors are all different and that's cool and stuff, but some places I really wanted to try to hide the stitch a little bit. So these I came in side to side. So I came out here and then came back into this side here so that I was sewing those in. So my idea was that with this is that I am not going to line it. And I've seen so many people who do like, oh, and the other thing I was going to tell you is that I recaked that scarf I was working on where it's a half double and you work into the third loop so that it pushes the stitches forward. Didn't like it, frogged it, so I'm back in a cake. So those of you, Kayla, who walk around with your knitting and keep your little ball of yarn in here you can put a single cake of yarn in that and walk around with it on your arm. It's not too heavy, it's not going to stretch out the bag at all, and you can go about your business, you know. I wouldn't put anything, you know, a pen or keys or even a wallet that might have a zipper in here so as to not tear. And you're going to drop your hook right through if you try to put your hook in there. So it's not necessarily considered maybe a full project bag, but just again, that one, I know a lot of people walk around holding their bag of yarn while they're stitching and walking around at yarn shows or at the grocery store or whatever. So I loved the fact that I used the rest of my little minis here. And again, it's just such a easy way to join them. What I do is turn them so that the back sides are facing each other. And then I just do a little whip stitch. You can see right through here. I just do a little whip stitch to join them in the back loop only, so that when you turn it around, your good side, your outside facing side, has just this sweet little, this is my most favorite. I almost want to do all piecework so that I can sew them together and have that little invisible seamless line. You know, there's a little loop on this side that's the front loop of this one, and the loop on this side that's the front loop of this one, and then the back loops are what is connected in here. So you can either do this, you know, like make a hexagon or a square that has like a flower or something on the inside, and then the outsides are all white, and then use white to connect it, and then you don't see anything. Or just with a mixy-matchy, different, you know, variegated one like this, you can use either of the colors that are touching each other, and then you never see that seam. So I don't 100% love the way that the handle feels. I would like to have thought about that a little bit, like maybe it's a little bit wide for the feel of this, but otherwise it's just a really great little, I keep putting it inside out, a great little use of those little pickled pieces, those little pickle jar items. And yeah, there you go. This was something that I was working in my mind for a long time. I wasn't sure how to put them all together and stuff. So now that I'm almost finished with them all, I'm pretty excited. So we got this one that is finished. We've got this one that I pretty much know what I'm going to do with as far as the handle goes. And then this one that I'm still unsure of the handle. So the top items, the top hexagons, they still have the rest of their remaining attached so that I could do like a single crochet border all the way around and still be attached. I wanted to cut as few times as possible so that I could use as much of that yarn and not have little snippets that I had to cut off all the time. Okay, so my bag is finished, my comparison of the yarns, and then, oh, funny thing, if you saw my recent video where I did my own little yarn crawl, it was because at work we're doing a computer conversion at the end of the month, and it was going to be on the same weekend as the yarn crawl, so I did my own. Only now our computer conversion has been postponed. So if I had just been patient and waited, you know, I could have gone with everybody else in a few weeks here, but at least it's already done and I won't have to be with crowds of people and stuff like that. So anyway, I always react to, you know, you can only react and deal with what you have at the time. You can't assume something's going to change in the future. But maybe you can wait until the date is almost closer and then make a final decision. I don't know. Anyway, all right, guys, that's my video today. I hope you've enjoyed sitting with me. Have a wonderfully blessed day, and please do come back and see me again. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, bless you.